The Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Real Doctor Who fans with real Doctor Who opinions.
Hello and welcome to the Alhambra Podcast, episode 350 of the podcast. I am Brett, and this is a solo edition of the podcast. Solo, but not alone. Isn't that right, Liam? Yes, this podcast is just going to be just talking about the latest news from Big Finish, some other findings and whatnot, and occasional appearance from Liam. I think that is fantastic.
Go sit in the corner.
All right, well, no, because I have a podcast to get underway. Anyway, that being said, there's going to be various topics on this podcast, one of them being the First Doctor, the Unbound. I think I never got out and talked about that fully, which I think is quite interesting. Also, the idea of AI has reared its head, whether you're for it or against it. And as of the date of recording, September 14th, 2024, we have the first of two Big Finish audio dramas. The Stuff of Legends? Is that? Yeah, the Stuff of Legends. That came out today. And so that's very exciting because that has been trending nonstop on Twitter. So with that being said, before we get into the podcast, like, subscribe. If you're on the YouTube channel, give us some feedback either through that, or you can email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. All right, first on the docket, I want to discuss the idea of AI in the future. Now, I pose that question I think in one of the more recent podcasts, 349, 348, one of those two. Anyway, in the Big Finish audio group, something came up that I thought was quite interesting. Somebody had created a color Patrick Troughton talking to Victoria, and, well, this is what it says.
Victoria, are you ready for brand new adventures in space and time from Big Finish? Could this be the future of the Second Doctor adventures?
So, I will tell you, there is a static Victoria head, or somebody, dubbed as Victoria, but we have Patrick Troughton. His lips are moving. This is done in color, and it sounds pretty good. It's a very interesting and sticky situation regarding AI in the future. Now, I did bring up the fact that fans who thoroughly love the show will do things that will perhaps add to the canon continuity, are going to be very good stewards of the whole thing, unlike maybe somebody's who rhymes with blissflibnal or whatnot, maybe RTD Part 2, if you are so intended to. Even Stephen Moffat, you could even say. So you could say that some people would be good stewards of the canon and continuity, just creating fun stories that, because of licensing, could not sell unless it was on the black market or whatnot. But in this thread, the first person posted, AI is the death of art. Now, that's a very interesting situation to discuss because, yes, it could take out people who are, voice actors. Currently Patrick Troughton's son is voicing, acting on behalf of his dad in Big Finish audios. You have people who are being paid by the BBC, Big Finish, book companies, probably BBC too, and they could be, kind of sidelined or put out of work because of the addition of AI into the world. Now, I think it's an interesting situation because, again, this video was it was short. It was 8 seconds long, but I think, and just before I get to that, even though I did say it could be used to, improve canon continuity, you're going to have a whole bunch of weirdos that do their other stuff too, which will not. But I think with this, with like the whole Virgin novelization, Eighth Doctor, book line, you have the Missing Adventures, the, current book line, the comics, and even Big Finish to extent, you could say canon continuity is kind of, a wavy mice. Whoa, what was that? A wavy mice? No, a wavy. Well, as Michael Keaton's Batman character said in the Flash movie or the better Batman movie, it's like a whole bunch of spaghetti that has just kind of, gone this way and that way. And I think we're now to the sticky situation of where people's canon and continuity is going to be kind of their own. And I think with the addition of AI, I think that was always going to be that way. But with the less than satisfactory new series of Doctor Who, and I'm going to even put in the tail end of the Moffat era, the Chibnall era, and for me, the RTD Part 2 really struggling with this bi-regeneration, timeless child still thing. I think that is kind of where we're looking at as a fandom. And you could say that that's toxic. You're hoping people lose their jobs. I don't put words in my mouth, please. Do not want people to lose their jobs. I think that there's always been, a secret underground of, Tumblr accounts where people write their own fan fiction. But now we have the means, and I don't say we as in myself, I'm saying that as Doctor Who fans, you have the means of doing it better. Now, you could also say probably lazier, and if you've ever seen AI art, probably missing a couple fingers or actually having a couple more fingers. So I think it's going to be quite interesting regarding that. A lot of people on this thread were talking about, the photography and painting that will, cause some quibbles and whatnot. Some people say, it's really damaging the collegiate level. And I am, as a teacher, I'm part of a AI Facebook group that collaborates and discusses and, for ideas. I don't use AI to grade because I think that that's lazy, that I'm not being paid to have a computer do it for me. I have used it to help generate or extend ideas per se, just to help me out just a little bit. But with that, it's, I'm using my talent already to further and improve what's going on. And I think AI could further and improve it and possibly make it so that everything is a tad bit more cheaper. And I don't mean cheaper as in the horrible secret invasion or whatever intro that was just ghastly, if you ask me. But if you didn't ask me, I still think the intro to Disney's Secret Invasion was just not good. And if it was done by not AI art, they paid millions of dollars for that. Also, another, so, and here's I want to just push back on some people that are just like, AI art would be lazy. AI art is putting people out of jobs. I think you still need to be able to have people manually maneuver it, alter it, change it, and adjust it to making it, better. But you could also say that CGI has altered like movies and TV series as currently constituted. I feel as though a lot of the Marvel movies, and now it's easier for me to like not watch a lot of newer movies because everything is green screened. Like I watched the Dungeons and Dragons, and I like that a lot of, not all of it, but a lot of the elements of the story were filmed around like actual legitimate castles, not everybody standing behind a green screen and just throwing stuff in. I think that CGI has caused laziness, but then, it does cost a pretty penny too. If you could marry those two with AI art, have people still working on it, I think you could have something. Again, not for, people losing their job, but I do think that there is a avenue for its benefit. I think it could benefit writers as well too, instead of having standard tropes that everybody is just kind of expecting, that you could do something a tad bit different. Some people think that that 8-second clip is very creepy because it looks like Pat, but it doesn't act like him. And again, that's where everything is imperfect, and that's where I think we're going to have to go. And I just want to just go down a different avenue with that question, because you could say, yeah, it doesn't look like him, but it does, or it does look like him, but it doesn't kind of like perfectly fit / act like him. But you could say, all right, well, what do you want? Would you like further adventures like that are kind of quirky and just a little bit different? Or, just be left to the original show, which had, wobbly sets. And I'm just trying to compare for devil's advocate purposes, wobbly sets versus imperfect renditions of, the main actor. I think it's a double-edged sword. That is for certain. I think that it is not a perfect situation. I don't think it ever will be a perfect situation. And I think, I don't see it going forward unless, you do something like James Earl Jones, where you gave, Disney Star Wars the right to use your voice in perpetuity as Darth Vader's voice. Now, especially as important as we no longer have James Earl Jones with us. So that being said, I just think it's a very interesting situation that we have with AI. And I think it's always going to be an imperfect situation. And I think we just need to make the best of fandom. Enjoy the show that we love. Be frustrated with the show that we love. Just hopefully, at least for me, I hope we just don't get to the apathy phase of the show that we love, because then, you just move on to something else. Next on the docket, I want to just tackle the First Doctor enters a new Unbound era. Now, this comes from Big Finish's website from the 17th of April, 2024. Says David Bradley returns as the Doctor as he and his friends find themselves in a series of big and bold and bright Unbound audio adventures from Big Finish Productions. And I think this is quite interesting, as we've got Stephen Noonan playing the William Hartnell Doctor, and we have Lauren Cornelius as Dodo, and we've had a couple of old companions come back through that time. But the question is, or was at one point in time, what do we do with the David Bradley First Doctor series? Because that was kind of supposed to be extending the Barbara, Ian, and Susan group. And some people, and Legion said this on a previous podcast, probably about a couple of years ago, talked about the possibilities of those episodes being unbound, or people posing the idea that they're an Unbound Universe story. And I was all for that, because again, just because you look like them on video does not mean that you sound like them. And that's always been my issue with the David Bradley Adventure in Space of Time crew. And so we now have the release of the First Doctor Unbound box set coming in September 2025. I think it's going to be quite interesting. I'm not 100% sure I'm for it, but we do have, let's see, what's this? This is David Bradley. Maybe.
I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until that time, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I'm not mistaken in mine.
So I like how Big Finish actually did that with, the TARDIS hum in the background. They made it black and white. They even had David Bradley hold his lapels just like William Hartnell did. And, but again, it's not perfect. I think Stephen Noonan does a much better job. It's, this was just, these four were for the Adventures in Time and Space, or Space and Time, whatever it's called, that was done for the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, which is fantastic. But at the same time, I never was the biggest fan of this existing in Big Finish. So I'm kind of glad that it is in the Unbound universe. According to this, it says producer David O. Mahoney, Peter Cushing featured film in the 1960s were our stylistic inspiration here, the lighter tones, the spirit of high adventure, the true technicolor nature of storytelling. We want these adventures to have that bank holiday or Sunday afternoon feeling. We combined this with the brilliant cast of the BBC's anniversary and Adventure in Space and Time, led by legendary actor David Bradley, working along blah, blah, blah. It says, I cannot tell you how excited I am to be taking charge of the first Doctor Unbound series. Similarly to the Lost Stories range, making these stories unbound to the television continuity of Doctor. Now that's interesting. And I came across a post in the Big Finish audio group talking about the Unbound Universe, where somebody was just like, I didn't know that Full Phantoms 5 or 5 Fathoms 5 or whatever it's called, as well as Deadline, I think it's Deadline, were not connected together. And to me, it was always this like, how did you not know that they were not connected together? Because I thought everything was just kind of like its own standalone universe. And the only one that really ever grew legs was the David Warner one. And so I thought that was quite interesting discussion that I noticed. But I do like that this is a further Unbound. They could take, and what I would be more excited about is taking similar ideas that occurred in the classic series and kind of do a Marvel what if situation. Something else happened. What if, they, I don't know, let's just say this crew met the Mara. What if this crew met the 90s or 80s Cybermen? I think that would be really fun. I think it would be, I like the idea of it officially being slated as an Unbound instead of, further continuity. So that's going to be quite interesting to see as it comes out. Again, that's to be released in September of 2025. This is Unbound 1. All we got currently is the disc format. It's going to be in a 2 CD disc jeweled case. That is going to be 120 minutes long. It's going to be written by L.R. Hay. I'm just going to click on that. I've never seen that person before. And according to this is their only one that they've ever written for. Is that? I'm just curious. I'm just curious if that is just like a placeholder name or that is actually the name of the writer. But everything else, senior producer, so maybe it is. L.R. Hay is writing this Unbound story with John Ainsworth as senior producer, directed by David Mahoney. We have script editor John Dorney. Who the heck is that dude? Anyway, that'll be quite interesting to check up on as we get closer to that. And again, to discuss again ad nauseum, the Big Finish app. So, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up is an interesting thing that I saw pop up, not only on Twitter, but also on the Big Finish listener group, because again, people are still having trouble with their library. According to this article came out on the 30th of August, 2024, and it is a temporary Big Finish app solution. It says, as you know, rolling back to our original website and listening app on the 15th of August has ensured that all of our customers could access their libraries via their account on their website. Unfortunately, there is ongoing issues for many of our most loyal customers, meaning people with gigantic libraries, attempting to fully access their large libraries via the app. They've tirelessly, tried to reconfigure stuff, blah, 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 blah. And so the solution that they are currently proposing to be able to gain access to downloading on the app is to shrink your libraries within the website account by using the hide function, thereby enabling the app to sync with your account without your device timing out. The upside is that each customer can decide for themselves which items to temporarily hide. The downside is it does require time commitment from each large library customer, and it must be done on the website, which we appreciate can be changed if you have accessibility issues, don't have easy access to a laptop or a computer. So I thought that was quite interesting because for over a week or so, I have not been able to download a single thing on either app. And I found that super frustrating. I could not, the classic app, it still had all of my things on there because I never deleted it, but I could not download anything. The new app has all my new purchases and new downloads that are now available to me. Kind of. I just barely picked up the Stuff of Legends because I did not realize I did not own that. And currently, and I picked that up probably about a week or so ago. And as of today, the 14th of September, as I look at all the things that I have pre-ordered before anything like this happened, I don't have access to, it does not show that I purchased the Stuff of Legends. So, and anything that I can try to download, which has been downloaded on previous apps, never gets downloaded at all on the brand new app. And I looked through a couple people who posted their cell phone, their screenshots of their Doctor Who app. And I do think that there is one big issue that I have pointed out numerous times that has still yet to either be resolved or discussed. And if it has been discussed, I do apologize. And again, I do apologize for bringing this up, but I do think it's interesting. As I was scrolling through the Big Finish timeline on Twitter, I noticed a couple people posted their screenshots of their app, and they made mention of having done the, reducing their size of, according to this, you need to be able to reduce the items in your account from about 400 to 500 items. So, Liam will have to, if he wants to have access to anything on his app, he's going to have to, hide about 1,300 to 1,400 items so that he can currently use the app, which I know Liam is just over the moon about. So, yeah, with that, I think there's still massive issues. And again, what I was going to say before I distract myself with the Liam's sonic screwdriver sound, the big problem is once you've done that, all the screenshots that I've noticed, including my app, and I have not shrunken my app to the 400 to 500. I'm just not downloading everything, and everything is now still available. But what I did notice is everybody that has posted their screenshots of their app, they have the most recent purchase, Goth Opera and Operation Werewolf at the top. They don't have anything else. They don't have the Death World. Death World's not on there. So I'm curious if the app is still not syncing up with purchases made after July 31st, 2024. I think that is a very interesting thing that I'm quite shocked that has not been brought up to anybody's attention, or if it has, I haven't seen anybody notate it. And if I am incorrect by my assumption, I do apologize. You can email the show, reach out to the show by contacting me through YouTube on the podcasting site. Again, thumbs up if you'd like. Subscribe to the show, or you can email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. You can tweet the show at Alhambra Podcast. DMs are open. Yeah. So with that, I think I'm going to end the show. I hope that this short episode has been fantastic, that it has brought you joy and happiness and everything in between. And do we have any parting shots since we are not using AI? Oh, that'd be fun to use AI on Liam's voice and find out what I could get him to say. But what would you think if I did that, Legion?
We'll stand in the corner, think about what you've done.
Okay, well, I guess Legion is not pro AI. So, all right, fine. I won't do that. All right, thanks for downloading and listening. We do appreciate it. Please listen to previous episodes of the podcast. Stay tuned for future stuff, as I have like 9 things in the fire right now, and my ADD is not allowing me to finish or focus on one of them at a time. I'm very excited for a couple of projects that are underway, some more listology stuff, as well as some Doctor Who reviews, Big Finish reviews, and other things that also tickle my fancy. Thanks again for downloading and listening, subscribing, liking, also replying. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And until next time, we will see you in time.
You have been listening to the Doctor Who Alhambra Podcast. Doctor Who is owned and trademarked by the BBC. Doctor Who Alhambra is not affiliated with the BBC or Big Finish. No infringement is intended. Visit our website at alhambrapodcast.weebly.com or email the show at alhambraaudio@gmail.com. Tweet us at Alhambra Podcast. That is ALHAMBRA Podcast. Thank you.